What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Good morning. It is the 13th of April. We are going to take a look at Tellor. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It is TRB/USD, and this is the Coinbase chart. We are on TradingView. We are, as usual, looking at a daily chart. Up on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see this is the data I have. TRB/USD on a daily chart. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. A lot of the viewers are not yet subscribed and have not yet joined the community here. So go ahead and do that. Greatly appreciate all of you. So before we kick this off, down at the bottom of the screen in the center, I have the crypto fear and greed index. We are still sitting in extreme fear. Quite crazy. We're sitting at 25. Of course, we can go lower, but we are sitting in extreme fear. So if you are not familiar with that, go ahead, do a search for the crypto fear and greed index. It'll give you how they derive that data. All right, so here we are looking at a daily chart of TRB/USD. And this chart has a similar look. We're going to zoom in first and then we'll zoom out. It's got a similar look to a lot of other cryptos, XRP, Casper, with this sharp pullback here. So it looks like we actually did let me get a horizontal line on the chart. So unlike some of the other projects, this project actually, although this is a double top, it did breach that top, the prior top. So we have put a high in over here, and then we actually breached that, which now I am not familiar with this project. I'm just looking at the chart, and I do not hold any of this. A viewer wanted some opinions on this, so I'm just going to share kind of what I see here. So we actually did breach that double top there, which if I was looking to get into this or holding it at the time, I would have been quite bullish on this, and then it actually rolled over. But it rolled over with the rest of the market. The rest of the market has rolled over, and we're getting some kind of a bounce here. How high it goes, I don't know. I don't have too much confidence in the bounce we're getting here in some of these assets and in the crypto markets. But anyways, so double top, and then we have been trading lower. So me personally, I would not be holding a position in this, and I just mentioned I'm not, but if this was on my radar, I would currently not be in this. I don't see a reason for it at the moment. If it starts to show some more strength and some movement to the upside, perhaps I would establish a position. But where it's at now, I don't personally see too much going on here. I'd rather be flat. It actually looks like it's potentially going to head lower here. So it all depends on how high this bounce goes. If this bounce starts to fade here, then we'll probably get another swing lower. Now, will that swing find support either right around here, which would correlate with this low, or perhaps right in here where we have these other lows? Well, I guess we'll have to find out. We'll have to come back to this project in the weeks or months ahead. But I would just be careful of these bounces we're getting here. They're starting to look just like a lower high. So that is kind of what I see right there. Let's take a zoom out so you can see that we have a downtrend in place here. Now I'm going back to November in 21. We have a downtrend. We have a lower high into some lower lows. Kind of choppy, rounding, basing structure, but we still printed a lower high, fell off, the waterfall move, lower high, and then now we're in this zone here, which is basically some choppy sideways. It could be a rounding bottom pattern. So if these markets are going to head higher, at some point, we're expecting a lot of the altcoins to move to the upside. A lot of them have not yet done that. So this could just be a long drawn out rounding bottom pattern here for one, TRB, and for two, a lot of the other crypto projects as well. So we were in a confirmed downtrend over here, and things are starting to change in this basing structure. Let me zoom back in and see what we can come up with here. So we have this is still a lower low down in here, moved higher. This is still nothing but a higher low. So we are still in this confirmed downtrend here. And then we get another low. So this is still another lower low, but we wicked back up. And that would have been a warning sign to me that this potential move, this potential downtrend move that we've been in could be coming to some kind of an end, or at least a pause. So this whole basin here could just be a pause in what is to come of a much longer downside move. But like I said, it could just be a rounding bottom pattern and we're getting ready to move higher. It's tough to tell where it's at right now. So we wicked down here, like I just mentioned. And then right in here is actually a higher low. And then we headed up higher to a higher high. So the trend has changed for the bulls. It has changed to the upside. And like I said, it could just be waiting on these markets to get out of their own way and quit with the choppiness. But for right now, that is the cards were dealt. So, and this move right here is a excuse me, is a higher low. So we have what looks to be the early stages of a new uptrend beginning for Tellor, Tellor, TRB. So we have this higher low followed by a higher high, and then so far this is a higher low. And what will be to come here if the markets and TRB heads higher will be a higher high. So we'll get this next leg up. So downtrends are lower highs and lower lows. Uptrends are higher highs, higher lows, and so on. So we will see, will this move, will this higher high happen? So far, we have a confirmed higher low, and then we just have to be patient here, and we are waiting for that higher high to come in place. So let's go ahead and throw in some Fibonacci's. But before I do that, I actually see something else here on the chart I'll share with you guys. So you can see basically we found resistance at the upper end of this box. And that also correlates with this area up in here. So we have basically a stair step to the downside. And this is a whole nother area up in here. So you can see inside these boxes where the price, you could see it, this was a support area, right? And then this next box turned that support into overhead resistance. And then once we broke out of that box, this support area actually turned into, so this was support in this middle box. And then in the box we're currently in, that support is actually now resistance. So you can see we found resistance there, and we also have found resistance there. So support and resistance, a big player in the markets and these different assets and stocks. So basically what we want to do here is we want to turn, let me get rid of some of these arrows here. We want to turn what is now overhead resistance back into support. And that will happen when this thing breaks back to the upside, whenever that may be. So we want to break out. That is the wrong tool. We want to break out of this box here and turn this old level here, the upper line of this box, back into support. So perhaps we'll get a higher high, and maybe we'll pull back a bit, and then we'll turn that back into support, which would be very bullish, and then we'll really start to move back to the upside. Now the swings probably won't be as big as my arrows here, but I just want to show you on a bigger scale of higher highs and higher lows. So just simple support and resistance, and then you'll also have to deal with the 200-day moving average. So once we broke that here, the party was quite over here for the bulls, and this is a big warning sign. If I was holding TRB up in here, this looks just like a big topping pattern that did break down below the 200-day. So we'll see what happens here, but just keep your eye on the next. Well, first off, you want to make sure that a higher low is printed, and you want to make sure that is printed. It's tough to call where the low is here, but I'll just call it like right in here. You want to see this current low that we're trading in stay above that one. If that doesn't happen, then so far this is just a consolidation, a basing structure. It's not really a new uptrend yet, but so far it is. So keep your eye on that higher low. I assume it's already printed, but like I said, this just could be a dead cat bounce, and then you'll look for that next higher high here. So downtrends are lower highs, lower lows. Uptrends are higher highs, higher lows. All right, so let's take a zoom out here. Let's throw some Fibonacci's on the chart, and we'll take this move here, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So before we got this whole leg up here, this very strong move to the upside. So once we printed this, what looks to be a higher low down in here, we'll call it on the 14th of March. And if you go look at like XRP, if you go look at Casper, if you look at Tesla, when the markets are in a downtrend and then the trend is changing and they don't print another lower low, they actually print a higher low, that reaction move to the upside is usually very strong and big, and it catches the bears off guard because they're expecting another swing low like right in here. So basically we undercut this low on looks like the 10th of January 22, and we dropped like a waterfall. So you can imagine that if we didn't undercut that low and we stopped right here, the rally that would have followed this would have been huge. It catches the bears off guard. The bears don't get what they expect. They end up doing short covering. The bulls come in and buy the higher low, and it triggers a big rally. So that is what we saw right here. We went from, looks like, bottom around 17 up to 29 or 30. That is a huge move. So anyways, I pulled the fibs off of this high here down to this big candle wick low. And this would be good because before you got this big rally, you could kind of see what would have played out here or what could have played out. So we got a massive rally to the upside, and now we're pulling back. So far we're sitting at the 0.236 fib level quite well. Looks like we're finding a little bit of a battle at the 382, and you can see the other fibs above that, the 5, 618, and 76, and where those correlate with price. And then you can also see to the downside what's going on here. So we'll see if this is a higher low or nothing but a dead cat bounce, and then we start to head back lower. Really depends on the rest of the market. So that was pulling the fibs off of there. Let's pull the fibs off of this swing high. Looks like it's around 70. Let's see, that high would be 80 on the dot. So basically right there. And then we'll still go down to that swing low. So this is a little bit more of a zoomed out look, and you can see that we are below the 236 fib level. If you watched I think it was yesterday's Casper video, I've mentioned it in other videos as well. When assets are below the 236 Fibonacci level, the odds favor that they are in a good area to accumulate, and you can expect further upside price action in the future. They are well near their lows and well in the bottom portion of the fibs. So That's a positive for this project. It is below the 236. Of course, does not mean it won't go lower, but the odds favor there's more of a chance of a good return on your capital when you purchase them under the 236, which this one is. Of course, not financial advice. Also, taking this bigger fib look here, as you can see, we found resistance just about at that 236. So that is definitely an area of overhead resistance, and that area, of course, correlates with this area here, which we had ultimately found resistance and broke down below. So the 236, we are quite a bit away from that. That looks like it's up in the $30 range, and we are sitting around $20, so $10 to the upside. Not bad. TRB currently up $1, currently up, 1.83%. So that is that, and then you could see some of the other fib areas here. Just go ahead and throw this on your chart. Gives you all these price areas here. Let's clear the chart. Let's clear the deck here, and then we'll take basically this right here, and we'll swing low. Now this shows a whole different story, even more of a zoomed out story here. So this shows that we are obviously well below the 236, which is up there at $47. So that is more than a double higher from here. And then you have the next fib, the 382, and the 382 actually quite interesting, correlates with a lot of these wicks up in here where we wicked above it and then ultimately rolled over as that turned into resistance. And then above that, you have obviously your other fib numbers, giving you some of the potential here for this project. And then if you zoom out even more, this thing looks quite crazy, but like I said, I'm just sharing what the fibs say. I am not familiar with this project whatsoever, just looking at the chart. All of these upper fib levels, if you break an all-time high, you'll be up into this area, and then you have it looks like the full 4236 up there at 585. So pretty crazy. I am just sharing what the fibs say. And look at that, 1618 up there at $230. So who knows? I mean, if I was going to look to get into this project, and I believed in it strongly, and I'm using the fibs, I don't see it's probably not the worst play there. The only thing is I would like to see some more strength come into this project. But if you're looking at it from it's below the 236, then there's probably not a better time to get in. Not financial advice. Could go lower, of course, but looks like this thing is trying to get into an uptrend. But it would be nice to see some strength come into this move here. Let me try to draw this there before getting into a position here. But like I said, I would be flat right now waiting for strength to show up. But it looks like we could have printed a higher low right here. We definitely got the higher high. And this could be right in here, the higher low. And if these markets are going to move higher, this will be the low, and we will get a nice move to the upside. If something like that started to come in play, or we start to get strength in that, potentially that next higher high coming in, then I would definitely be keeping this on my radar. But I don't really have any interest in getting into this, but if I were, that would be what I was looking for. But still, that could actually set up a lower high and roll over. So definitely have to have some stops in play. At least I would anyways. But it's well below the 236. So if you believe in the future of this, and if you look at other assets when they are below that 236 Fibonacci level, then this meets that criteria. So if you need an excuse to get into this, I would have to agree that would be quite a good one, below the 236, near the all-time lows. So according to this Coinbase chart, looks like the all-time low here was 1588, and we're sitting at 20. So not too bad if you're looking to get in at the lows. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. And it looks like the highs, according to this chart, were way up there at 169, 170. So that's pretty crazy. That's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thanks once again. Go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel if you have not yet done so. Check us out over on Patreon. We also have some other links down in the video description. Help support the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Have some merchandise. Some pretty cool office merchandise down there. And some t-shirts and whatnot for those who like investing related, stock market related t-shirts. Those are linked down below. All right, guys. Have a great day. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.